last voyage of the Demeter. Another vampire story. In fact, another Dracula story. There have been dozens, maybe even hundreds of vampire / Dracula, specifically Dracula. He's the most popular of all the vampires. Dracula stories. And if you're going with Bram Stoker's Dracula, then you're going to have to add things like Renfield, England, the Demeter. You just got to do it. He controls the storms, man. He's more powerful than your typical vampire throat-sucking dude. Dracula's different. And in this one, they condensed the story to just the voyage. The voyage to England for Dracula. He's on a ship. Usually, they may give you some faint idea of what happened on the ship, or they may even start it after the ship has done its voyage and landed in England. This one is just the voyage, which it's a good idea. You've got a story that's iconic. You might want to take one little piece of the story that doesn't get a lot of interest by people or a lot of showing by people and take a look at it. And that's what they did. They took a look at it, and it was good. It is a horror story, but it is not really a scary story. In fact, the star of the show, Dracula, he's only got like 6 or 7 scenes in the whole movie. It's mostly about the build-up, the suspense. Every once in a while, a person will look left, look right, and then look left again, and then boom, he's right there in your face, man. And he's, got his teeth like that, and he's got the big Dracula smile. I don't know why he's smiling. I guess because he's about to bite somebody. That's crazy to me, Dracula smiling. But I guess it's supposed to be scary that he's smiling at you. But I'd be scared of a tiger if I ran into one of them. They're not going to smile. I'd be scared of a charging elephant. They're not going to smile. The fact that he smiled kind of changed the animalistic presence of him. Because most of the time he's in full bat form. He's got the wings spread out and he's flying and stuff. He's full Batman, man. And I dig that, but the smile humanized him. The smile made me think they could maybe negotiate with him. Apparently they did, because she said for generations, the woman on the ship says for generations, they've been giving him sacrifices to appease him. So he doesn't just come down there sucking throats. They offer him a woman, which you'll find in a lot of different cultures. Keep the dragon away, keep the volcano, from blowing up, keep the thunder gods from getting us. Give him a woman. And they did. So they gave him to him periodically, and she was given to him so he could have a snack on his trip. I mean, she had multiple bites. So it was clear to me that he didn't have to bite you and drain you. But since he was just taking a little bit from her so he could make the voyage, just a little bit, he wasn't full-on strong, super Dracula. He had he was crawling on the floor. He was just barely making it. He should have asked for 3 women or something, but he was just taking a bite out of her, taking a little bit of blood, and then that was it. The story was good. The horror was not. It wasn't scary. This particular movie I saw 100% in a theater, solo, by myself, and for some reason the camera people kept turning the lights off. I guess maybe to add to the horror of the movie or whatever, but they were like, how there's lights on the wall and the top of the wall, they were cutting them off. And I was saying to myself, are these still trying to scare me? It's a movie. It's a movie. And unless I got that ticket from Last Action Hero, I don't have to worry about nobody jumping out of the theater or me jumping into it. It's a movie, man. But they were turning the lights out. And even with that, it still wasn't scary. And almost complete and total darkness except for the screen. And when I came in, I looked around. There was nobody in there. There's nobody in the theater. There was only like maybe 6 people in 18, theaters inside the movie theater. So there was nobody in there. So it wasn't like I could go, ah! It wasn't scary. But it was still a good story. It had a vampire in it. It was like the old Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman. And I saw that movie. TLC was sitting behind me in the theater when I saw that. Story for another time. But when I saw that movie, it had Dracula. He became a werewolf. He was controlling the storm like a mutant. He was doing all kinds of stuff. He was sucking throats. His shadow was moving around. It wasn't a scary story. It was a love story that just happened to have a vampire in it. This is basically an origin story. His origin would have been older than this. But it's the origin story of how Dracula ended up in England. And it wasn't really a horror movie. It wasn't a scary movie. It was basically the origin of how he got from here to there. So, he does show up. He's flapping his wings, man. He's biting people. He's taking people up into the clouds. And whoever directed this movie, I apologize, I should have looked it up. The producers and directors of this movie clearly saw Godzilla vs. Kong. Because the part where the serpent thing wraps its wing around King Kong to suffocate him, Dracula did that. He put his wing around people to suffocate them. And I'm like, oh, that's good. That sucks. Hey, I made it funny. That sucks. They're going to get suffocated by a vampire. I guess it beats getting bit, I guess. I don't know. I've never experienced either one of them. But that was the movie, essentially. Dracula moves from here to there. There's one part. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but there's one thing that I got to say. When they realize that Dracula's on his ship and he's hidden in the ship somewhere, they realize there's basically a bunch of coffins up under, and they're like, you know what? We're going to break all of these open, and then we're going to trick him to get up on top of the ship, and we're going to try to kill him. Me personally, I would have taken one of those boats. They had boats to escape with. I'd have taken one of those boats. I'd have set the ship on fire, and I'd have dipped. I'd have waited until just as it became dawn and set the ship on fire. So it's not like he could hide in the ship, because the ship's going to burn up. And it's not like he could jump in the water and swim, because it's daylight. Man. But they had such a stupid plan to kill Dracula. If you know how to kill Dracula, and you've got the vantage point of being able to know exactly where he is, I'd say open a bunch of windows and open his coffin, man. But they were like, no, we're going to set up this, 1980s Burt Ward and Adam West Batman trap. We're going to do this, and this will hit that, and that'll turn to this, and this and that, and then this, and then boom, we got him. Nah, it was too complicated. The trap was too complicated. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. We'll find out. But it was a good movie. But that's what I think. I think, in fact, this movie was so good that I would give it 7 bags of popcorn. 7 bags of popcorn. It would have been 8 if it would have been scary, because I was expecting to go in there and be terrified and have nightmares. I don't really have nightmares anymore. Nightmares and stuff. I was ready for that. But no nightmares. No terror, no nothing. Good story, no terror. So 7 bags of popcorn. Because that's what I think about that. But more importantly, what do you think about that? Now that you saw the video, now we had a chance to talk about it, let's talk some more in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn passport. Get your popcorn passport.